Yo, what's going on, people? So a few weeks ago, we got our first look at Xbox Series X gameplay. And while that event left a lot to be desired, Xbox reassured us that that wasn't going to be their only showcase this summer. We didn't have a date set for this fabled second event, but we knew it was going to be going down sometime in July. And here we are, we're coming up on the end of June. I thought I might as well just talk about the event. Talk about some of the things that have happened leading up to it. Of course, speak on the rumors and leaks, and I do stress these as rumors and leaks pretty heavily because that's what they are. And just an open and honest dialogue about how you don't need to be an Xbox fan to want them to do good. So we might as well just start at the top. Let's talk about my initial thoughts on their first showcase, the debut of Xbox Series X gameplay. Alright, so what is the best way I could pitch this without getting canceled? Okay, so this was an event that was live streamed online about games that you are going to eventually play on your Xbox. Nope, I'm about to get canceled. Okay, here we go. Giving credit where credit is due, Phil Spencer, the entire team at Xbox, they've done phenomenal work at really rewriting the wrongs of not only the initial Xbox One launch, but revitalizing Xbox as a consumer-focused brand. If you were to come up with a list, and it was the top 10 things that Xbox needs to improve upon, they've checked almost all those boxes. Backwards compatibility for OG and 360 games. Tweaks and fixes to the UI. A brand new Elite controller, introducing a lot of features and services that fans requested, but in addition, adding in things that we didn't really know we wanted or needed until they gave it to us and we're just like, yo, this is awesome. Xbox Game Pass. And then when you factor in the transparent marketing of the Series X, when you just strip away that it's a new generation of consoles and you just look how they're highlighting and focusing on the talent behind it, learning why they did the things they did with the Series X, why they designed it, the Elite controller. You know, as an amateur techie, I really do appreciate that. But more so than that, just seeing the people behind the product who are really passionate and genuine. I mean, you guys know me. I get on here on YouTube. I gush about video games. I have like a mini shrine dedicated in every single video to my love for Persona 5. Just two different versions of this game. I love seeing that stuff. It's great. That being said, your boy is still a gamer. I've been gaming since I was 4 years old. And going back to that list of the top 10 things that Microsoft needs to improve upon, oh, they've checked 9 out of those 10 boxes. But the one they haven't has been the games. And that's been their biggest problem this generation. Now, admittedly, Phil Spencer has admitted to a lot of these things, and he's worked really hard to not only foster relationships with, other studios, but really building new ones from the ground up and then acquiring some more established ones. He's been doing a lot of good work. But again, we don't really know the fruits of that labor until we actually get those games in our hands. So while I'm excited about this event, while I think it's really admirable and noble that he really wants to push first party to the forefront of Xbox after it's been lacking for, a generation and a half, the games need to do the talking. The games need to do the talking. We know Halo Infinite's going to be there, and that's it. There's a lot of rumors and speculations about some other titles that might show up. I mean, we've been hearing rumblings about them for years, and y'all already know the games I'm talking about because they keep coming up over and over and over again. But my advice to everybody who's watching this event and this showcase, temper your expectations. And I know we often say that, and there's a negative connotation attached to it. But if there's anything I've learned in my 12 years of following gaming news and speaking on it online, is the less expectations you have going in for something, the easier the fall is going to be if it sucks. Take it from a guy, Nintendo Directs are a prime example. Not every single one of them is a good one. But if you temper your expectations and you take them for what they are and you appreciate some of the good things and then criticize some of the bad things, you're going to be all right. So that's what we're going to do. We're not going to go in here expecting to see Halo Infinite, we know that's coming, but we're not going to see, a brand new Fable game. We're not going to see a reboot to this game, a reboot to that game, just 16 new IPs all announced on the same day. They are a business, and they got to stretch this out for a whole generation. So, guys, I want them to be great as much as the next person, but please, just take it for what it is. And provided it checks a lot of the boxes that we have wanted, that we've leveled towards them, like we need to see the first party games and we need to see gameplay, I think we're going to be all right. Gameplay is something that they want to focus on in this event, which when you compare and contrast the last one, which, there were games there. Those were games you were going to play on your Series X. They didn't give us the exact representation of what you think when you see gameplay, right? Gameplay. Oh, this is what the game is going to be like. They showed games running on in-engine, which is cool. I prefer in-engine footage over cinematics any day of the week. But if I don't know what the game is going to play like, how is that really gameplay? It wasn't until I got on Twitter later and I was just like, oh, okay, is that what it is? They had to explain it through text. Not the best representation of gameplay. But again, this is the same company who finds new ways to call multiplats exclusive. I'm just being honest. So, fingers crossed, this event gives us everything that we want. Because Xbox this generation, it's been said time and time again when it comes to game quality and game diversity. Xbox games fall into one of three categories. You have the tried and true staples, the HGFs, the Halo, Gears, and Forzas. You had games that eventually ended up good, started out rocky, but they found their footing in their audience with State of Decay and Sea of Thieves. And then he just added the cancellations, which it's so funny. There's, I think, just as many cancellations as there are really quality Xbox One games this gen. It's kind of sad. And then there's a fabled fourth category that doesn't get brought up much. That's the Ori and the Blind Forest, Ori Will of the Wisps appreciation. But, that's just 2 games, so unfortunately we can't. That being said, moving away from that and moving into the rumor and speculations, some of the things that we know are going to be happening, right? More often now, when it comes down to these rumors and specs, people tend to overhype themselves. Like, oh, I can't believe this. It's just too good to be true. More often than not, it is always too good to be true. But when a lot of people start echoing the same thing, my eyebrow starts to, like, what's happening here? This is weird. This is very strange. I can't just do one eyebrow. Oh, there we go. So there was a document that came out talking about how Xbox is really confident at this first party showcase, as any company should be, right? And it was more a night for the industry rather as a rebuttal to Sony, because while Sony is their direct competitor, Microsoft has gone on record to say that they are competing also with Amazon and Google because they have Project xCloud, and cloud streaming is apparently the next big battlefield, right? So it was more of an industry night to celebrate the industry, which is very good. I think at the end of the day, we should all be happy for games as games in the medium. But then something else happened. Phil Spencer went on an interview recently, and he was just talking about the Series X and the initiative behind it and what they're doing and what they're excited about. And he was saying how, in rebuttal to the PS5, like, he's very excited as a gamer, because he just loves healthy competition. But he said, even after that showcase, I'm really confident in our brand. Again, usual PR talk for an executive. We know this. Like, Phil's the same guy who says every year is the best year for Xbox. We know how it is. But when a leak comes out and says that the Xbox first party lineup is very strong and all the industry insiders are agreeing with it, and then Phil Spencer comes out and he says that everything is looking strong, it kind of puts me in the camp like, maybe I'll just raise my expectations a little bit. I was right here. Normally I'm like, yeah. I was like, yeah. But I go back, yeah. Like right over there. You know what I'm saying? It just, maybe it might be the one. Maybe. And when you extrapolate off of the insider aspect, right? Like, insiders, this is a night for the industry. That can mean things like their competitors, it can mean the appreciation for games. But if you're talking about like shaking things up, which is another term they used, Xbox Lockhart, which honestly I might do a separate video on alone, because there's just something really interesting about that particular product and how it's a next generation console that's coming out and it's coexisting with the Series X. That Xbox Series S, that model for a really affordable price, that could seriously do some numbers, and it could be a disruptor in the industry. So your guess is as good as mine here, people. Something like that going down. Fingers crossed. I want it to be good. I want it to be good. And that brings us into the final portion of our discussion, which it feels so weird that I have to come on here and really speak on it. I've noticed, as I've been doing videos for 12 years now, whenever we get into discussion of game companies and them having events or new console launches or whatever, there's this really, really bad, I don't know if it's a following or what, but there's a good contingency of people who just literally, no matter what a company does, no matter what good they do to try to right the wrongs, they will never be accepted in these guys' eyes. Again, you could chalk this up to the typical fanboy nonsense that we always see, but as a gamer and as a fan who games on all systems and all platforms, I don't want any one of these companies to fail. Bar them doing something really bad and anti-consumer for the industry, like if they're doing some really messed up stuff, I want all of them to succeed, to prosper, to thrive, because we as the gamers benefit from them. Even if you're one of those people who says Xbox, they don't have any quality exclusives, which yes, they haven't had quality exclusives and they haven't had true exclusives to one console in a while. But if you're a PC gamer and Xbox is out here funding great quality games for you to play, wouldn't you want that to continue? Because if the difference was that game never getting made to Xbox funding that game, and sure, it's not exclusive, like people try to spin that as a bad thing. I don't understand that. Maybe it's just me getting old, like we all had our fanboy days. When we came on here, we just argued about what our favorite platform was. Everybody went through it. If you go back on some of my videos, you will see that stuff. But if you can't just sit here and acknowledge that, like, hey, they did a good thing, they're doing good things, and we should be happy about that, and we should be excited. Like, I don't want any of these companies to fail when they do these events. I want them all to succeed and prosper, and for gamers to be excited, and for us to get good games, and we can see these developers, their creative vision fully realized. Like, that stuff is amazing, and it's great. You know what I'm saying? Like, for all the cynicism that we do level, which some of it is warranted, I'm not going to say it isn't. We should also bring that level of positivity there. Like, they can both exist. You can be critical and you can also like just spread the love. I know this sounds really corny and cheesy, but I don't know, man. It's just like this whole fanboy stuff, we can leave it to the memes, but then people take it beyond the memes and they take it so seriously. Like, how dare you game on Xbox when you have a PC? I don't know. Am I alone in this? I might be. Who knows? But anyways, y'all. That was like my mini discussion, thoughts on basically nothing, but I did want to discuss it because I am like elevating my hype a little bit. I really am, and I'm excited to see what happens. So comment your thoughts down below on some of the things that you guys want to see. And for me, for now, my name is NGS signing out, and like always, I will catch you guys later. Peace.